So I'm here with Melinda Ranson from Merthyr Law today, and we're just talking about different structures we recommend to small business people. And typically we're sort of doing that structuring equation where we're looking at asset protection, the taxation results of the structure, and the cost of maintaining it. And there's been some changes recently, and it's been in the papers about phoenixing activities, and ASIC are cracking down on these phoenixing activities. So we just want to discuss it today in the context of where we've recommended that somebody trade through a discretionary trust. Typically we've always said that they should have a corporate trustee. If you have an individual trustee, obviously you're going to be personally liable for all the transactions. Let's go to Melinda and just sort of ask her, what are the liabilities that a director of a corporate trustee of a trading trust can have?
Thanks, Steve. So a corporate trustee is really no different to any other company in terms of the personal liability of its directors. It's still a good structure. It still gives you that barrier between you and the company's debts.
All right. So when can directors be liable?
Well, in any other normal situation, the same for corporate trustees. There's a few kind of categories of ways that they can be liable. The first obvious one is if they voluntarily choose to put up their own assets on behalf of the company or trust. So they might
a guarantee sort of thing.
Exactly, a director's guarantee to a bank or any other funding institution. That's quite common. The second category is sort of tax debts.
And there's been some changes with that. So before it was just PAYG, that part of the wages that we took out of someone's salary that we had to remit, that's now been expanded to superannuation and now GST.
And those were part of the reforms that came in with the first tranche of these phoenixing reforms.
Okay, and what are the other phoenixing reforms that have come in?
So in February this year, the legislation, the bills were passed for the new tranche of reforms, and those ones have brought in some additional duties on directors to avoid essentially those phoenixing activities. There's also some civil liability and also criminal penalty provisions that have come in with that. So if you incite a company to enter into a phoenixing activity, then that may be considered an offence under the Act now.
So Mel, that's a funny word, isn't it? Incite. So if we've got a company that's sort of maybe insolvent and we're the sole director of it,
yep,
and we set up a new company or a new trust and we're to transfer that asset over for an undervalue to the new company,
yep,
that's inciting one of these transactions is going to be caught by this phoenixing legislation.
It certainly could, especially if that transaction caused that first company to become insolvent within that 12-month relation back period, yes.
There's clearly out in the public, they're trying to catch more and more directors, trying to stop them from hiding behind the corporate veil and making them personally liable in circumstances. What's the easiest way to avoid all these personal liabilities as a director?
Well, I'd probably say two things. The first thing is, if you feel like the company or the trust for that matter is getting into financial trouble, don't just put your head in the sand. Come and talk to someone, whether it's your accountant or a financial person or a legal advisor. Come and get some advice and talk through your situation. Because it might be that you're okay, there's a way out of it, or it might be that we're just on the cusp and we can stop the company and you from having personal liability if we catch it that quickly. The other thing is to get your own house in order, to be aware that these issues are out there, that there is the potential for personal liability, that the protections are not quite as strong.
We can't continue to trade in a company that's got a claim against it and we're not sure how that's going to be resolved. You know, there's going to be that sort of unknownness. So we're probably better off moving to a new trading entity, but doing it in a way that we're not going to invoke or incite these phoenixing activities. So thanks for that, Mel.